Hey everyone, welcome. On this channel, we're going to get into an advanced look at the story Disastrous Necromancer. Come with me as we unravel the journey of Lin Moyu, from his beginnings to him becoming a force to be reckoned with in a mysterious new world. If this story sounds like something you'll enjoy, please like, share, and comment. Your support helps us keep providing these in-depth looks into the world of Disastrous Necromancer. Now let's continue.
Elder Yan's refining speed was very fast, and one jade plate after another quickly took shape. Lin Moyu's actions were also quite swift. He had already prepared the fused runes in advance and embedded them one by one into the jade plates. At the same time, he also infused his soul power into the jade plates. The talisman saint sensed the soul vibrations within the jade plates. In his perception, the souls within the jade plates were identical, with no differences at all. He couldn't help but show a bitter smile, realizing that his soul sensitivity was still not enough. It wasn't until the 20th jade plate appeared that he sensed the difference between this plate and the first one. Clearly, Lin Moyu had increased the vibration frequency of the soul in each jade plate by 1%. If the vibration frequency of the first jade plate was 1, then the vibration frequency of the last one was 2, exactly doubled. A doubling of soul vibration made a significant difference. If one couldn't sense this difference, it only indicated that their talent was too weak and unsuitable for the path of rune fusion. Although soul sensitivity could be improved through training, there were certain limits to how much it could be enhanced. It couldn't be increased indefinitely. In just half a day, 100 jade plates had been refined. Elder Yan stopped and looked at the jade plates. "Young friend Lin, what are you planning to do with these?" Lin Moyu replied, "They will be used for the lecture." Elder Yan was taken aback. Recently, there have been rumors among the talisman masters that the talisman saint is going to give a lecture. Is it not the talisman saint who will be lecturing? The talisman saint chuckled. "It's all just rumors. When did I ever say I was going to give a lecture? The one giving the lecture is young friend Lin. I will merely be one of the listeners." Elder Yan was even more shocked. A god venerable giving a lecture, and a saint venerable listening? This is quite. The talisman saint waved his hand, interrupting Elder Yan. "A master is a master, regardless of age. The path of runes is vast and profound. In some aspects, young friend Lin has already far surpassed me." Elder Yan was filled with doubt. The talisman saint had achieved the rank of saint venerable through the path of runes, yet he claimed that Lin Moyu had surpassed him in some areas. This was hard to believe. He wasn't sure if the talisman saint was being overly modest or if it was indeed the truth. The talisman saint did not offer further explanation. Elder Yan's gaze fell on the 100 jade plates he had refined. "The souls within these jade plates seem different, but I can't pinpoint exactly how." At this moment, Lin Moyu had already numbered the jade plates from 1 to 100 and arranged them in order. Upon hearing Elder Yan's comment, Lin Moyu immediately said, "Elder Yan, using the first jade plate as a baseline, from which plate do you feel the soul starts to change?" Elder Yan sensed for a moment and then looked at the 15th jade plate. "The change starts from the 15th plate. It's strange, they don't seem different at all." He could sense the difference but couldn't articulate what it was, which felt very peculiar. The talisman saint laughed. "Elder Yan's soul sensitivity is quite good. Have you considered training in the path of runes?" Elder Yan glared at him. "Is this something to joke about? My Tao heart is unshakable." The talisman saint laughed heartily. All right. If Elder Yan is interested in attending the lecture, you are always welcome." Elder Yan nodded. "That sounds reasonable. Is there anything else that needs refining?" Lin Moyu thought for a moment. "I happen to acquire a warship, but it's damaged. I wonder if Elder Yan could help repair it." As he spoke, Lin Moyu took out the warship. It floated in his palm, appearing very small before it was unfolded. Elder Yan exclaimed upon seeing the warship, "This is the warship of the 9 Emperors God Venerable." Lin Moyu was somewhat surprised that Elder Yan recognized it at a glance. Elder Yan took the warship and examined it carefully. "Indeed, it is the warship of the 9 Emperors God Venerable, and it was crafted by me. However, he has been missing for many years. How did this warship end up in your hands?" Lin Moyu recounted his experience of obtaining the warship in the dark void. After sensing it, Elder Yan said, "The core is shattered, and the aura of the 9 Emperors God Venerable has disappeared. It seems he met with misfortune. Previously, the fate-calculating God Venerable predicted that the 9 Emperors God Venerable would face a calamity. It seems he couldn't escape it." The talisman saint added, "Many God Venerables die in the dark void every year. It's not surprising." He wasn't being cold-hearted. He had simply seen too much life and death over his millennia-long life, making him indifferent to it. Lin Moyu asked, "Can Elder Yan repair it?" Elder Yan nodded. "No problem. Since I crafted it, repairing it won't be difficult, but it will take some time." Lin Moyu immediately expressed his gratitude. Without the Golden Eagle clan god venerable as a mount, having a god venerable level warship for transportation was a good alternative. Elder Yan began repairing the warship, while the Talisman Saint took Lin Moyu to the Talisman Masters Association in the Divine City. On the way, the Talisman Saint updated Lin Moyu on recent events. The speed of the soul-devouring clan's investigation was gradually accelerating. In 1 year, they had basically completed the investigation of the high-level areas of the Divine City and were now focusing on the mid-level areas. In the high-level areas alone, 108 people were found, including 28 god venerables and 80 god kings. Given that there were so many soul-devouring clan members in the high-level areas, the numbers were not small. Moreover, the numbers in the mid-level areas were even higher, indicating that the situation in the low-level and outer areas could be even worse. Not to mention the 4 major star regions and the 4 battlefields. Lin Moyu remarked, "It seems the soul-devouring clan has grand ambitions." The Talisman Saint nodded, "They have been lying low for 100,000 years, so they must have a big plan. However, we have inadvertently disrupted their plans this time. When they react, there will likely be chaos among the various races." Lin Moyu said, "As long as our human race remains stable, the more chaotic the alien races, the better. The more chaotic, the better." This statement was cold, but it was the truth. The big world was cruel. It was best if you were in a dire situation so that I could kick you while you're down. Now, the Human Emperor Network was monitoring the entire human race comprehensively. The soul-devouring clan couldn't even communicate secretly. Any anomaly would be detected by the Human Emperor Network. The human race had already set up a large net, and none of the soul-devouring clan members within it could escape. As for other races, they were full of loopholes. This net was already completely broken, and chaos was inevitable. The two arrived at the Talisman Masters Plaza, the true headquarters and holy land of the human Talisman Masters. A 10-story Talisman Masters tower stood tall, identical to the one in the Human Emperor Network. The Human Emperor Network was a virtual world, and many things within it were projections of the real world. Including the Talisman Masters Tower of the Talisman Masters Association, the one in the real world was the original. In the Talisman Masters Tower, Lin Moyu sensed several powerful auras. The Talisman Saint explained, "The Talisman Masters Plaza in the Divine City is the headquarters of the Talisman Masters Association. Only high-level Talisman Masters are qualified to come here. And not all high-level Talisman Masters are eligible to come." Lin Moyu nodded. He could sense that the high-level Talisman Masters in the tower were all high-level God Venerables, and not just at the 7th level of God Venerable. Some of them were even peak God Venerables, very likely to reach the other shore realm. The plaza was vast, circular, with a diameter of tens of thousands of meters. Around the plaza stood a row of statues, each towering 1,000 meters high, very majestic. According to the Talisman Saint, these statues were of high-level Talisman Masters of the human race. Without exception, they had all made significant contributions to the human race. However, they had all passed away. Warships arrived from afar, entering the Divine City and coming to the Rune Master Square. Inside were high-level Rune Masters, who were also mostly high-level Divine Sovereigns. Though their combat power may not be strong, not as good as those main combat high-level Divine Sovereigns, the role they could play surpassed most high-level Divine Sovereigns. Numerous rune arrays and powerful runes could be applied to treasures, warships, and various other places. The existence of Rune Masters greatly enhanced the combat power of the human race. Rune Masters, Equipment Refiners, and Pill Refiners were also known as Auxiliary Masters, and were indispensable. 10 days later, almost all high-level Rune Masters of the human race had arrived. The total number of high-level Rune Masters exceeded 10,000. They were seated in order according to their ranks in the square. Sitting at the very front were 9th-level Rune Masters, followed by 8th and 7th levels. The ranks were clear and could not be crossed. They faced the Rune Master Pagoda, their gazes finally landing on the 10th floor, with a hint of aspiration in their eyes. Entering the 10th floor of the Rune Master Pagoda was the dream of every 9-3 Rune Master. Only by surpassing 9th-level Rune Master and truly reaching the peak would one qualify to enter. Becoming a Rune Master was not easy. Both effort and talent were indispensable. And to become a high-level Rune Master was 1 in 100. Among high-level Rune Masters, those who could truly surpass the 9th level and reach the peak were even rarer. In the current generation of humans, there were only a handful. 10,000 high-level Rune Masters seemed like a lot, but for the human race's population, it was actually very few. There were even more low-level Rune Masters, who were concentrated in the Human Emperor Network, waiting to listen in the virtual world. Everything in the real world was faithfully projected into the human emperor network. The rune masters were very patient. The whole venue was quiet, so quiet you could hear a pin drop. Half a day later, the rune master pagoda, which had remained motionless, suddenly lit up. The light burst from the bottom floor, spreading upwards level by level. Countless runes flew out from the pagoda, dancing in the air like millions of beautiful butterflies, interweaving in the sky to form a colorful auspicious cloud, incredibly magnificent and beautiful. These runes continued to interweave and change in the air, forming various beautiful scenes, constantly changing, leaving people in awe. When the 10th floor of the Rune Master Pagoda also lit up, 3 people flew out. It's the president. And 2 elders. In the current world, only 3 people could enter the 10th floor of the pagoda. Apart from President Fu Shengzhen, there were 2 elders. Their attainment in runes had reached the realm of transformation, far surpassing ordinary people. Just as everyone thought Fu Shengzhen was going to lecture them, the 3 flew to the front of all the rune masters in front of the pagoda, and turned to face the pagoda. The gazes of the 3 fell on the top of the pagoda, and everyone followed their gaze, seeing that there was actually another person above the top of the pagoda. Lin Moyu sat cross-legged in midair, his eyes slightly closed, appearing to be in deep thought. In front of the Rune Master Pagoda, the 10,000 high-level Rune Masters had strange looks in their eyes, but still maintained silence, without discussion. But in the Human Emperor Network, it had already exploded. Who is this? How can he be at the top of the pagoda? This is Master Lin. Master Lin is at the top of the pagoda. Could it be that the lecturer this time is Master Lin? Heavens, has Master Lin become so strong that even the president has to listen to his lecture? I'm really looking forward to what Master Lin will lecture on. When Lin Moyu was enlightening before, many mid and low-level rune masters had benefited from Lin Moyu's grace. Though there was no formal master-disciple relationship, there was a de facto one. They regarded Lin Moyu as their teacher, calling him Master Lin with great enthusiasm. It was as if Lin Moyu being able to lecture was also their glory. Silence. A loud voice rang out from the Human Emperor Network. It was Fu Shengzhen's voice, and the Human Emperor Network immediately fell silent. Then Fu Shengzhen continued, "This lecture will be presided over by Lin Moyu. Everyone, please listen carefully and do not speak." As his words fell, whether in reality or in the Human Emperor Network, all extraneous noise completely disappeared. Lin Moyu also opened his eyes at this moment, with runes faintly jumping in his eyes, and his aura rapidly rising. The other Shore Realm's soul fully erupted at this moment, waves of powerful soul pressure sweeping out. The Human Emperor Network also transmitted this change in real time. Whether in the real world or the Human Emperor Network, all were enveloped by the soul pressure. Such strong pressure. This youth has such a strong soul. This youth's soul fear has already produced purple from jade, reaching the peak of 4th grade. In the future, stepping into the other Shore Realm is certain. With such talent, he cannot be underestimated. In reality, the high-level rune masters' hearts trembled. They were all high-level divine sovereigns, but at this moment they had the illusion of facing someone from the other Shore Realm. At this moment, they finally truly acknowledged Lin Moyu. Section 2194 23,692,195. Lin Moyu waved his hand, and 100 jade plates flew out, arranged in a row from left to right according to their numbers. 100 jade plates also appeared simultaneously in the Human Emperor Network. The ability of the Human Emperor Network was so strong that it was almost identical to reality. Even Fu Shengzhen found it difficult to perceive the soul vibrations and changes in the 100 jade plates, but the Human Emperor Network could perfectly replicate them. At that time, Lin Moyu found it strange why the Human Emperor Network could perfectly replicate the soul vibration frequency but could not deduce the method for perfect rune fusion. Logically, it shouldn't be like this. But that was the fact, and Lin Moyu didn't know why either. Lin Moyu's voice came out neither heavily nor lightly. This lecture will focus on 2 points. First, the way of rune fusion. Second, the way of creating runes with arrays. As he spoke, Lin Moyu's fingers moved slightly, quickly drawing several runes. He casually picked 2, his soul moved, becoming a bridge, and the 2 runes immediately fused with each other. The runes merged smoothly, fusing without any hitches. So fast. When did rune fusion become so simple? Everyone was stunned, even those high-level rune masters were dumbfounded. They had never seen rune fusion happen so quickly before. In just 2 seconds, the runes had completed fusion. Then an even more magical scene occurred. The runes jadeified, the illusory runes turning into a beautiful piece of jade, meaning the runes had perfectly fused. Everyone present held their breath, eyes wide open, watching such a magical scene. Not only was it fast, but it was also a perfect fusion. Then Lin Moyu quickly fused other runes. Each time was fast, and each time was a perfect fusion. Everyone's eyes grew wider and wider, almost popping out of their sockets, mouths agape, unable to speak. These high-level rune masters all lost their composure. Not just them, even the two elders beside Fu Shengjun were extremely shocked at this moment. Everyone had only one question in their hearts: how is this done? When did perfect rune fusion become so simple? At the same time, they also began to get excited. What Lin Moyu was going to lecture on was the way of rune fusion. Did this also mean that they would have the chance to reach this level? After perfectly fusing 10 runes in succession, Lin Moyu formally began his lecture. All souls have differences, subtle differences. He used the most straightforward language to explain the greatest principles. Everyone present could understand. If they couldn't understand, they weren't qualified to be rune masters. He made people understand what soul vibration was, how to control the vibration of the soul, and how to improve sensitivity. The 100 jade plates were the best example. Lin Moyu told everyone that the soul clusters in the 100 jade plates were all different, and they needed to constantly sense and feel their differences. When they could sense the differences between them, it meant that their soul sensitivity had reached a passing level. Lin Moyu even set standards for this, divided into pass, good, excellent, and perfect. The 4 standards set by Lin Moyu had vastly different requirements. Among the 100 jade plates, the soul vibration frequency between plate number 1 and plate number 100 differed by a factor of 2. If one could sense the difference between the two, they were considered qualified. If one could sense the difference between plate number 1 and plate number 50, they were considered good. If one could sense the difference between plate number 1 and plate number 20, they were considered excellent. If one could sense the difference between plate number 1 and plate number 5, they were considered perfect. In Lin Moyu's setup, if a person was naturally qualified in terms of soul sensitivity, it already proved they had a decent talent for being a talisman master. With training, their soul sensitivity could be further enhanced, enough to make them a high-level talisman master. In the path of rune fusion, they could also achieve good results. If they were good, they had the chance to become an 8th or even 9th ranked talisman master. For those who were excellent, becoming a 9th ranked talisman master was not a problem, and they even had the chance to surpass the 9th rank. As for those who were perfect, they would undoubtedly surpass the 9th rank and have the qualifications to achieve perfect rune fusion like Lin Moyu. The talisman saint and the 2 elders belonged to the excellent standard, still a bit short of perfect. Lin Moyu didn't know if there were any people among the listeners who could reach the excellent standard. But that wasn't his concern. He was only responsible for lecturing. The rest was the talisman saint's concern. After explaining the path of rune fusion, Lin Moyu began to explain the method of using arrays to create talismans. Many people thought that using arrays to create talismans required the assistance of array masters. It wasn't until Lin Moyu explained that they understood that what he meant by using arrays to create talismans was actually using talisman arrays for mass production of runes. This idea was almost fantastical, something they had never thought possible. But Lin Moyu completely shattered their worldview, personally demonstrating the entire process of using arrays to create talismans. He explained all his concepts, and how much they could understand depended on the individual. Lin Moyu taught everything, but he didn't guarantee everyone would learn it. Throughout the lecture, no one made a sound. No matter how shocked or incredulous they were, they remained silent. The lecture lasted for 3 days and 3 nights, during which Lin Moyu thoroughly explained the methods of rune fusion and using arrays to create talismans. After the lecture ended, Lin Moyu left, leaving behind 100 jade plates and a talisman array. The talisman array continued to operate, constantly producing runes, continuously proving to everyone that using arrays to create talismans was feasible. After Lin Moyu left, the entire talisman master's square was silent for a long time. However, their soul power had already spread out, each person sensing the jade plates, verifying their own soul sensitivity. Everyone wanted to know which level they belonged to. Lin Moyu's lecture covered 2 aspects: rune fusion and talisman arrays. Regardless of which path they chose, they benefited greatly. The talisman saint slowly flew up, pointing his finger outside the square. In the previously empty space, a 1,000-meter-tall statue rose from the ground. The statue was none other than Lin Moyu. The talisman saint's voice boomed, "Master Lin has deciphered the secret of rune fusion and pioneered the method of using arrays to create talismans. He is qualified to have a statue." His voice echoed throughout the divine city. Lin Moyu's statue not only appeared in the real world but also next to the talisman tower in the Human Emperor network. From this moment on, Lin Moyu stood alongside the many sages of the human race. The Talisman Masters all bowed to Lin Moyu's statue, calling him Master Lin. With one lecture, Lin Moyu became the teacher of all Talisman Masters of the human race. A vast amount of faith power surged towards Lin Moyu. In an instant, the faith power he received exceeded what he usually gained in hundreds of days. Over this period, Lin Moyu had already accumulated a considerable amount of faith power. At this moment, it nearly doubled, and Lin Moyu's faith power exceeded 400,000 units. Adding the faith tokens he could now mobilize up to 1 million units of faith power. Lin Moyu headed towards the training room. After the lecture, he needed to continue his cultivation. He recalled the words of the Talisman Saint. Lecturing is not just about passing on your methods, it is also for yourself. Lecturing will bring you rewards, and these rewards will be continuous. At this moment, Lin Moyu understood the meaning behind the Talisman Saint's words. The faith power from the Talisman Masters was not a one-time surge but would continue to flow. Even if it gradually leveled off, it would still add nearly 200 units of faith power to him daily. Combined with his previous gains, he could increase his faith power by 600 units daily. This speed was not slow among all the god venerables. Just as he returned to the training room, Lin Moyu suddenly received a notification from the Human Emperor Network. For deciphering the secret of rune fusion, you are awarded 10,000 merit points in the Divine City and 2 contribution points. For pioneering the method of using arrays to create talismans, you are awarded 10,000 merit points in the Divine City and 2 contribution points. For lecturing and being revered by all Talisman Masters, having a statue erected in your honor, and being remembered in history, you are awarded 10,000 merit points in the Divine City and 1 contribution point. Lin Moyu was stunned. One lecture had brought him such great rewards. The so-called difficult-to-earn merit points in the Divine City didn't seem difficult at all. He had just been promoted to the intermediate level and had planned to explore some secret realms to strive for a promotion to the advanced level within a few years. But now, he suddenly had over 60,000 merit points. He was not far from the 100,000 points needed to be promoted to the advanced level. It seems that the true way to earn merit points in the Divine City is not by exploring secret realms. The real way is to contribute to the human race. The greater the contribution, the higher the reward. Exploring secret realms is also a contribution, but it doesn't benefit the majority, so the rewards are relatively less. Lin Moyu had an epiphany, but exploring secret realms was still necessary. Exploring secret realms benefited not only the human race but also himself. The understanding and gains from ancient runes in secret realms were not much less than merit points in the Divine City. If it weren't for the current issue with the soul-devouring clan, he might have gone to explore a secret realm. The door of the training room closed softly, and Lin Moyu's mind also calmed down. He sat cross-legged in the center. He was now a god venerable and could cultivate the second or even the third law. Some god venerables walked the path of a single law. They did not cultivate multiple laws, focusing on just one from beginning to end. For example, Zhu Qiwu only cultivated the star-shattering law. But many god venerables cultivated multiple laws. In Lin Moyu's view, there was no superiority between the two methods. Regardless of the method, they ultimately led to the same destination. This was different from the path of runes, offering more freedom. Lin Moyu had already decided to cultivate both the space law and the time law simultaneously. Adding his innate undying law, he would cultivate 3 laws together. Although this would be slower, once successful, his future path would be smoother, and his combat power would significantly increase. Let's start with time. With a thought, he lightly pointed his finger, and a red light suddenly illuminated the training room. White star level spell, Time Curse. Without a target, the curse had no effect. Lin Moyu thought for a moment and threw out a true god level treasure. He didn't know where it came from, but he had many such items. He pointed his finger again, and the time curse activated a second time, landing on the treasure. A red light appeared on the treasure, and a red sword mark appeared on it, indicating the curse. The characteristic of the time curse is that it can curse both living beings and artifacts. With a thought, the speed of the curse suddenly accelerated, instantly reaching 1,000 times, the limit of the spell. A peculiar aura spread out, which was the aura of the time law. Lin Moyu was delighted and was about to carefully sense it. The true god-level artifact emitted a crisp sound and then shattered. It couldn't withstand the power of the curse and was completely destroyed. With the artifact's collapse, the curse also disappeared. True god level is too weak. Or maybe the time acceleration was too fast. Lin Moyu pondered, then threw out another true god level artifact. White star level spell, Time Curse. This time, he increased the curse's activation speed to 10 times, allowing the true god-level artifact to endure for a longer period. However, the aura of the time law also became extremely weak. Lin Moyu tried to sense it, but even with his soul's sensitivity, it was difficult to detect anything. If it were someone else, they probably wouldn't sense anything at all. At most, they could recognize that there was a component of the time law within, but nothing more. Trying to comprehend the time law from it was impossible. It was like training in a time room. The time stone could accelerate time, but you couldn't comprehend the time law from the time stone. After several attempts, Lin Moyu muttered to himself, if the curse's acceleration is below 100 times, it's basically useless. The best method is to maintain the curse at 1000 times and sustain it for a period. I need something that can withstand the curse's power for a long time. Lin Moyu tried several artifacts. Even god-venerable level artifacts could only endure for an hour under the time curse. An hour was a drop in the bucket for comprehending laws. Comprehending laws often took years. An hour was nothing, ending before it even began. Knowing what he lacked, Lin Moyu temporarily stopped trying to comprehend the time law. Unfolding the wings of the undead, a large amount of soul power was injected into the wings of the undead. The wings of the undead began to vibrate violently, so fast that even afterimages were invisible. From a distance, the wings of the undead seemed motionless. Gradually, cracks appeared in the space around the wings of the undead. The familiar space law began to emanate from the wings of the undead. Like comprehending the time law, comprehending the space law also required a price. The price was Lin Moyu's soul power. Vibrating the wings of the undead to reveal the space law required a massive amount of soul power. Lin Moyu relentlessly pushed his soul power, while the world tree continuously replenished it. Activating the wings of the undead to trigger the space law consumed soul power, and comprehending the space law also consumed soul power. With both efforts combined, Lin Moyu's soul power poured out like a waterfall. Without the world tree's continuous replenishment, he wouldn't last long. Lin Moyu multitasked, controlling the wings of the undead to continuously trigger the space law while simultaneously comprehending it. Compared to the time law, Lin Moyu found the space law simpler, at least not requiring additional items. He constantly adjusted, maintaining a balance between replenishment and consumption. Days passed, and Lin Moyu immersed himself in the ocean of laws, freely exploring. In front of the Talisman Masters Square, the high-level Talisman Masters remained. They continuously sensed their jade plates, training their soul sensitivity according to Lin Moyu's method. The same was true in the Human Emperor network, where mid- and low-level Talisman Masters did the same. They all used the first jade plate as a baseline, comparing it with the others. Haha, I sensed the 88th jade plate. I sensed the 86th jade plate, I've improved by 1. You only improved by 1, I've improved by 3. I directly sensed the 67th jade plate. There really is a difference. I thought they were the same before. Master Lin is amazing. How did he discover this? If he hadn't said it, I wouldn't have noticed. It turns out there are so many nuances in rune fusion. On the other side, a talisman array continued to operate. Basic runes flew out from the array. The structure of the array was simple, but in the eyes of talisman masters who followed the path of arrays, it was a holy artifact. They studied the array as if on a pilgrimage. Some had already tried to set up similar arrays themselves, but all ended in failure. Knowing was one thing, being able to do it was another. This made them admire Lin Moyu even more. The talisman saint also went into seclusion, continuing to study the runes to identify the soul-devouring clan. He also needed to train his soul. Multitasking was not difficult for him. The scale of the soul-devouring clan's investigation was rapidly expanding, now covering the mid-level areas of the Divine City. The scope was larger than the high-level areas, and more people were being investigated daily. Many cultivators in the high-level areas who had been cleared of suspicion also turned into investigators, joining the effort. Lin Moyu's Death Knights became their best assistants. The human race's principle was simple: discover and kill, with no mercy. The soul-devouring clan had caused significant damage to the human race, and the enmity was generational, a matter of life and death. However, the situation reported from the mid-level areas was not optimistic. The Celestial Venerable and Hao Venerable had been gloomy recently, unable to be happy with the daily data from the Human Emperor network. The soul-devouring clan had infiltrated too deeply. 100,000 years had given them ample time to penetrate. If the situation was like this in the Divine City, the 4 major star regions and the 4 battlefields were unimaginable. Fortunately, the infiltration in the War God Temple and the army was not severe, so the human race's foundation was not threatened. Nearly 2 years after the investigation began, they finally received intelligence from other races. The Celestial Venerable looked at the intelligence with joy in his eyes. There are 2 other Shore Realm demons in the demon clan confirmed to be from the Soul Devouring clan. One is from the Hell lineage, and the other from the Abyss lineage. It's said they fought in their ancestral land, destroying a third of it and causing countless casualties. The How Venerable laughed. The 3 Silver clan isn't doing much better. They also have 2 other Shore Realm members confirmed to be from the Soul Devouring clan. Moreover, the Soul Devouring clan members in the 3 Silver clan collectively revolted. The number is astonishing. The 3 Silver clan erupted into civil war. The Soul Devouring clan members were numerous and included other Shore Realm beings, directly confronting the true 3 Silver clan members. All races, to varying degrees, faced some troubles. For the human race, this was good news. The Starry Skyfish clan was the most peaceful during this Soul Devouring clan disaster. According to current information, no Soul Devouring clan members had been found within their clan. Having been hidden for so long, it was difficult for the Soul Devouring clan to infiltrate them. Half a year later, the door to Lin Moyu's cultivation chamber opened again. Lin Moyu flew out and headed directly to the refining area. He sent a message to Elder Yan, asking for his help in refining something. Elder Yan agreed immediately, asking Lin Moyu to find him in the refining area. In the refining area, the temperature was scorching, and Elder Yan was forging iron. However, his forging was peculiar. He didn't move but used his soul to forge. Each strike infused a bit of soul power. Moreover, Elder Yan was forging the base of a large hammer. Lin Moyu could see that Elder Yan wasn't truly forging it but was integrating his soul power into it to increase the fusion between his soul and the hammer. Without turning his head, Elder Yan focused on controlling his soul. Wait a moment, it will be done soon. Lin Moyu was not in a hurry, and he admired Elder Yan's hammer. This method of forcibly injecting soul power into a treasure through forging can greatly enhance the compatibility between the treasure and oneself, thereby exerting stronger combat power. Compared to simply nurturing with the soul, this method is more effective. However, it also has problems. If the soul forging force is not well controlled or is uneven, it can also damage the treasure itself. Elder Yan's skill was undoubtedly excellent, and this skill required years of practice. It wasn't something one could learn just by wanting to. After rhythmically forging over 1,000 times, Elder Yan put away his soul power and the treasure, then looked at Lin Moyu. Young friend Lin, what brings you here? Lin Moyu directly stated his purpose. I want to trouble Elder Yan to forge something for me. Lin Moyu explained his requirements. What he needed wasn't a treasure, even just materials would do. The key was that he needed Elder Yan to reinforce it so that it could withstand the power of the curse. After hearing Lin Moyu's requirements, Elder Yan directly took out a high-grade God Sovereign level material. Try this and see if it works. This material looked like a mirror surface, seemingly able to reflect all light. Elder Yan explained, this is called Mirror Light Stone. It can reflect most attacks and is one of the more solid materials among God Sovereign level materials. Lin Moyu cast the curse on the Mirror Light Stone, then immediately accelerated the curse 1,078,000 times. After just 1 minute, a tiny crack appeared on the Mirror Light Stone. Elder Yan's pupils contracted as he looked at Lin Moyu. Why do I feel that in your spell, there's a hint of the time law? Lin Moyu said, I can make the curse's damage burst out in a short time, which indeed can trigger a bit of the time law. Elder Yan said, you want to use this characteristic to comprehend the time law? Lin Moyu frankly admitted, yes. Elder Yan pondered for a few seconds, then sighed, this is very difficult. There are many things that can trigger the time law, but it's almost impossible to comprehend the time law from them. At least in human history, no one has done it before. Lin Moyu said, I want to try. Elder Yan didn't object, it's good to try. Someone has to attempt it anyway. If you can really comprehend the time law, you'll be creating a precedent in human history. As he spoke, he took back that piece of Mirror Light Stone. The Mirror Light Stone only withstood 1 round of the curse before cracking, clearly not suitable. Lin Moyu's curse spell was very powerful. The Mirror Light Stone could resist most attacks, but it couldn't reflect the power of the curse. The characteristics of the Mirror Light Stone couldn't be brought into play, making it seem somewhat fragile. Elder Yan took out another material. This time the material was of a higher grade, emitting an aura of the other shore realm. Judging by Elder Yan's cautious manner, this material was obviously very precious to him as well. This material was about the size of 2 fists. Elder Yan's palm generated a deep blue flame, and he began to burn the material. The material gradually weakened in the flame, then Elder Yan turned his palm into a sword and directly cut off a small piece. This small piece was only about 1/10 of the entire material. Lin Moyu couldn't help but laugh wryly. He wanted to say, "Do you really need to be so stingy?" Elder Yan seemed to have heard Lin Moyu's inner thoughts. This material is called ancient gold. It's very precious and was obtained from an ancient ruin. I've treasured it for many years. If it weren't for you asking, I wouldn't be willing to give it away. So it was a material obtained from an ancient ruin. That indeed made it very precious. Elder Yan maintained the flame and continued to heat the material while explaining, ancient gold has very strong toughness and can withstand a lot of damage. Most importantly, it has the characteristic of self-repair. I'll engrave self-repair arrays on it, as well as arrays to enhance defense. It should be enough to withstand your spell. Lin Moyu immediately expressed his gratitude. Thank you, Elder Yan. Elder Yan waved his hand. No need for such formalities. I also hope you can comprehend the time law. The ancient gold became increasingly soft, and Elder Yan took out a large hammer and began forging. After all, it was an other shore realm material. Refining it wasn't as easy as refining the white jade plate earlier. Even Elder Yan had to use tools. The hammer struck again and again, and the ancient gold was hammered into a square gold block. The ancient gold was small, only about the size of a baby's fist. But after Elder Yan's operation, the ancient gold became a hollow cube, actually expanding a bit in volume. Then Elder Yan began to engrave arrays. There were not just one, but 6 arrays, located on the 6 faces of the cube. Of the 6 arrays, 3 provided self-repair ability, and 3 provided strong defensive power. With the 6 arrays working together, combined with the self-repair characteristic of the ancient gold, the defensive power was already very strong. Elder Yan handed the finished ancient gold cube to Lin Moyu. I hope you can really comprehend the time law from this. Lin Moyu seemed to hear some other meaning in his words. It seemed Elder Yan placed great importance on the time law. Lin Moyu took the ancient gold. I'll do my best. In front of Elder Yan, he tried his time curse. After 10 consecutive curses, the ancient gold showed no change. To be precise, it did receive some damage, but it quickly self-repaired, almost imperceptible to the naked eye. The sustained ability of the ancient gold was verified, and Lin Moyu was very satisfied with this material and very grateful to Elder Yan. Bidding farewell to Elder Yan, Lin Moyu returned to the training room to officially begin cultivating the time law. He had cultivated the space law for half a year and gained some insights, although he hadn't truly comprehended it yet, at least he had found a path. Lin Moyu decisively stopped and turned to cultivate the time law. He wanted to advance both laws simultaneously, keeping them not too far apart from each other. It wouldn't do to have one already entered while the other hadn't even found a clue. At Star Elder's place, he had seen the power of fused laws. He finally understood that outside his small world, those god sovereigns had died under the combined effect of the time and space laws. It was the time law that blinded the god sovereigns' perception, causing their senses to become chaotic. The space law then shattered their bodies, causing them to die without understanding why. Lin Moyu guessed that when the time and space laws fused together, they could form an extremely terrifying power. At that moment, he made up his mind to fuse the 2 laws together. The time curse was cast again and again, continuously accelerating, as Lin Moyu tirelessly sensed the time law. 7 years had passed since Lin Moyu went into seclusion. The human race had finally completed the investigation of the entire Divine City Star region. As the several Saint Sovereigns had predicted, in the middle, lower, and outer areas of the Divine City, the number of soul-devouring clan members increased exponentially. How Saint Sovereign looked at the data compiled by the Human Emperor Network, his gaze extremely complex. In the Divine City Star region, there are 3,548 God Sovereigns, 162,328 God Kings, 3.46 million True Gods, and 16.78 million Super God Realm. A total of over 20 million soul-devouring clan members. Well done indeed. He said these words through gritted teeth. After 7 years of investigation, they had uncovered over 20 million people who had been body snatched. The death of 20 million people could be said to be the most severe loss for the human race in many years. Ironically, they didn't even die on the battlefield. The Celestial Saint Sovereign said in a deep voice, after 100,000 years of dormancy, the soul-devouring clan's infiltration has indeed penetrated very deeply. If we hadn't accidentally discovered them this time, I'm afraid in another 100,000 years, the entire human race would be in chaos. The Divine City is still fine. The Human Emperor Network's control is strong enough. The 4 major star regions and the 4 battlefields are the real trouble. The Human Emperor Network isn't strong enough there yet. At this moment, someone flew in from outside the hall. Seeing the newcomer, both the Celestial Saint Sovereign and House Saint Sovereign's faces lit up with joy.